Have you ever wondered how the United States government works? Well, the story begins with the Constitution. In the late 18th century, the Founding Fathers of America gathered to draft a document that would stand as the supreme law of the nation. This document, known as the Constitution, was born out of a collective desire for freedom and a democratic government, aspects that were sorely missing under British rule. The Constitution took shape after vigorous debates and discussions, with the drafters taking care to ensure that no single entity would hold unchecked power. It was an embodiment of the Enlightenment ideals of the time, emphasizing individual liberty and the rule of law. One of the Constitution's key features is the establishment of the three branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. This tripartite system was designed to create a system of checks and balances, preventing any one branch from becoming too powerful. The executive branch, headed by the president, is responsible for implementing and enforcing laws. The president serves as both the head of state and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, holding substantial influence over the nation's affairs. Next, the legislative branch, composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives, holds the power to make laws. This bicameral legislature represents the interests of the states and the people, ensuring that their voices are heard in the halls of power. Lastly, the judicial branch, led by the Supreme Court, interprets the laws, ensuring they align with the Constitution. The justices of the Supreme Court serve as the final arbiters in disputes over the interpretation of the Constitution and federal laws. Thus, the Constitution, a document born out of a fervent desire for freedom and democracy, laid the groundwork for the United States government. It established the principles of a democratic republic, where power is vested in the people and their elected representatives. This revolutionary document set the stage for the evolution of one of the most complex and powerful systems of governance in the world. Thus, the Constitution laid the framework for what would become one of the most powerful governments in the world. First up in the trinity of power is the executive branch, headed by the president. This position is more than just a title. It's a role that carries immense responsibility and influence. The President of the United States is not only the face of the nation, but also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the person who shapes foreign policy. But what powers does the president have, you might wonder? Well, the president has the authority to sign laws into being or veto them, to appoint judges and other officials, and to negotiate treaties with other nations, among other duties. However, these powers are not limitless and are checked by the other branches of government. Then we have the vice president, who stands ready to step into the president's shoes should the need arise. The vice president also presides over the Senate, casting a vote in case of a tie. This role plays a significant part in the legislative process, ensuring a balance of power. Circling back to the president, let's not forget about the cabinet. This is a team of advisors, each leading different departments and agencies, who provide counsel on everything from national security to economic policy. They are the president's right hand, helping to implement the vision for the country. So, how does one become president? It's through a process called an election, held every 4 years. Citizens cast their votes, indirectly electing the president via a system known as the Electoral College. This process is significant, as it gives the citizens a voice in choosing their leader. The executive branch, therefore, is the driving force of the American government, setting the course for national and international policies. Next, we dive into the legislative branch, the lawmaking powerhouse of the United States. At the heart of America's democracy, we find the legislative branch. This is where the laws that govern the United States are born, debated, and enacted. The legislative branch is bicameral, meaning it's split into two distinct chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives. This two-tiered structure is designed to balance the voices of the states, ensuring that both large and small states have a say in the nation's laws. The Senate is composed of 2 senators from each state, regardless of that state's population, making for a total of 100 senators. On the other hand, the House of Representatives is based on population. Larger states have more representatives, while smaller states may have just one. This makes for a total of 435 representatives. These two bodies work together, yet independently, to craft legislation. A bill must pass both the Senate and the House before it can be sent to the President to become law. This process ensures that legislation is carefully scrutinized and debated from multiple perspectives. But the power of the legislative branch extends beyond lawmaking. It holds the nation's purse strings. This means that Congress, the collective term for the Senate and the House of Representatives, controls the country's budget. They decide where money is spent and how much is allocated to various government departments and programs. Congress also has the power to declare war, regulate commerce, and impeach a sitting president. These powers are not taken lightly, and they underscore the significant role the legislative branch plays in shaping the direction of the country. We must remember, though, all members of Congress are elected by the people. They serve as the voice of their constituents, representing their interests and concerns on a national stage. The legislative branch, then, is the voice of the people, crafting the laws that govern the land. Finally, we reach the judicial branch, the guardians of the Constitution. This branch is the backbone of justice in the United States, working diligently to ensure the law is upheld and the Constitution is interpreted correctly. At the helm of the federal court system is the Supreme Court. This is the highest court in the land, comprised of 9 justices who make rulings on some of the most pivotal legal cases in the nation. They are the last word in the legal system, their decisions final, their authority absolute. But the Supreme Court is not alone in the judicial branch. It is part of a larger network of federal courts, each playing its own crucial role in the justice system. These courts include the district courts, where most federal cases begin, and the circuit courts, which hear appeals from the district courts. Now let's delve into a key function of the judicial branch: judicial review. This is the process through which courts interpret the Constitution and review the constitutionality of laws and decisions made by the other branches of government. Through judicial review, the courts can even overturn a law or decision if it's found to be in violation of the Constitution. The people who hold these significant roles within the judicial branch are appointed, not elected. The President nominates individuals who must then be confirmed by the Senate. Once appointed, these judges hold their positions for life unless they choose to retire or are removed due to misconduct. This lifelong tenure is designed to safeguard the independence of the judiciary so they can make rulings based on the law and the Constitution, not political pressures or popular opinion. The judicial branch, therefore, serves as the interpreter of the Constitution and the ultimate arbiter of American law. It is a vital part of the United States government, ensuring that the principles of justice, fairness, and constitutional integrity are upheld in America. Now, you might be wondering, how does the United States maintain a balance of power among these branches? Well, the answer lies in the ingenious system known as checks and balances. This system was designed with the prime motive to prevent any one branch from gaining too much power and to ensure that each branch can regulate the actions of the others. Let's delve a bit deeper. The executive branch, headed by the President, has the power to veto legislation passed by Congress, a clear check on the legislative branch. However, this veto isn't absolute. Congress can override the President's veto with a 2/3 majority vote. This is a shining example of checks and balances at play. Similarly, the President has the authority to appoint federal judges, including those in the Supreme Court, a check on the judicial branch. But these appointments are subject to Senate approval, demonstrating again how the legislative branch checks the executive. The judicial branch, on the other hand, holds a powerful check on both the executive and legislative branches through judicial review. The courts have the ability to declare a law passed by Congress or an executive action by the President as unconstitutional, thus nullifying its effect. A further example relates to the impeachment process. The House of Representatives, part of the legislative branch, has the power to impeach the President, a significant check on the executive branch. But it's the Senate that conducts the trial and decides on removal from office, ensuring a balanced approach. These are just a few examples of how the system of checks and balances operates, ensuring that no single branch becomes too powerful. It's a complex interplay of authority and restraint, a delicate balance that has been maintained for over 2 centuries. In this delicate balance of power, we see the genius of the American government at work, a system designed to protect the freedoms and rights of its citizens. Each branch brings its unique strength to the table, ensuring that the voice of every American is heard and their rights are protected. It is indeed a testimony to the enduring wisdom of America's founding fathers.